It's late summer, 2025, and headlines once again carry Elon Musk's name alongside the US Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC has declared in court filings that its case against him is beyond dispute, while Musk has fired back with his own motion to dismiss the lawsuit entirely. The clash isn't a surprise. Ever since Musk shocked markets in 2018 with his infamous "funding secured" tweet, he has lived in a constant tug-of-war with the nation's top securities regulator. But this time, the battlefield is different. It isn't just about Tesla's stock or a provocative tweet. This time, the dispute centers on Twitter, now rebranded as X, and what Musk's personal fight with regulators could mean for the platform's corporate governance, investor future, and public trust. The heart of the case lies in the spring of 2022. Musk began quietly buying Twitter shares, initially under the radar. By March 14, he had passed the SEC's 5% disclosure threshold. Under Rule 13d(1), this meant he had 10 calendar days to publicly disclose his stake. The deadline was March 24th, but Musk didn't file until April 4th, 11 days late. In that period, he purchased more than $500 million in additional stock, ultimately revealing on April 5th that he had amassed a 9.2% stake in Twitter. By then, the news sent Twitter's stocks soaring, rewarding Musk and leaving early sellers fuming. The SEC argues that this delay wasn't just sloppy, it was illegal. In its lawsuit, filed January 14, 2025, the agency accused Musk of costing unsuspecting investors an estimated $150 million by denying them critical information. The SEC's argument is simple. The case is a straightforward strict liability violation. The law requires timely disclosure. Musk didn't comply. End of story. As the agency put it in one filing, this case involves a straightforward strict liability violation of important public reporting requirements. They are seeking both civil fines and disgorgement of profits, essentially clawing back the money Musk allegedly gained from his delay. Musk's side tells a very different story. His lawyers argue the delay was inadvertent, a product of logistical issues and counsel review, not some scheme to mislead the market. They say Musk disclosed his 9.2% stake on April 4th, just one business day after his wealth manager consulted with attorneys. Musk himself has framed the SEC's pursuit as harassment, even taking to X to mock the agency. They spend their time on S- like this when there are so many actual crimes that go unpunished, he posted in response to the lawsuit. His legal team has gone further, calling the SEC's demand for a $150 million penalty unconstitutional. This back and forth exposes a deeper question. What does all of this mean for X? Musk doesn't run companies by the traditional playbook. He makes decisions impulsively, often by tweet, often without board approval, and sometimes without the layers of corporate process that most public companies depend on. A UC Berkeley law professor summed it up bluntly. Musk plays by a different rulebook. For Tesla and SpaceX, that unorthodox style has sometimes created turbulence, but it has also produced breakthrough innovation. For X, however, the stakes are different. The platform is not just a business, it's a global megaphone, one that Musk himself uses to shape narratives about politics, markets, and culture. The SEC's lawsuit reinforces concerns about corporate governance at X. Investors want separation between a CEO's personal legal troubles and the company's brand. With Musk, that separation doesn't really exist. His battles with regulators bleed directly into X's image and, by extension, its ability to attract new investors. If X ever attempts to go public again, the shadow of this lawsuit could loom large. A victory for the SEC might mean heavy fines, new oversight, and even tighter restrictions on how Musk operates. all of which could cool investor enthusiasm. A victory for Musk, on the other hand, might embolden him and weaken the SEC's credibility, but it would also cement X's identity as a platform run by a leader who thrives on defiance rather than compliance. Public perception is equally divided. For Musk's loyal supporters, this fight only confirms his role as a renegade entrepreneur taking on the establishment. They see him as a free speech absolutist, battling an agency more interested in bureaucracy than innovation. For his critics, it is yet another example of recklessness, proof that Musk flouts rules when they don't suit him, and that X, under his control, is an unstable experiment rather than a reliable company. The echoes of 2018 are unmistakable. Back then, Musk and Tesla paid $20 million each in fines, and Musk was required to have his tweets reviewed by lawyers before posting. That settlement was supposed to rein him in. The fact that we are here again, 7 years later, shows how little it tempered his instinct for confrontation. The broader implications extend beyond Musk or X. This case is a test of regulatory authority in the age of platform moguls. If the SEC prevails, it reaffirms the power of oversight, reinforcing the principle that even billionaires must play by the same disclosure rules as ordinary investors. If Musk wins, the agency risks losing credibility at a critical moment when AI, social media, and new technologies demand ever more vigilant regulation. Other tech titans will be watching closely. A Musk victory could embolden executives across Silicon Valley to push harder against oversight, confident that regulators may not have the teeth to hold them accountable. The cultural message is just as striking. Musk's resistance resonates with a broader public skepticism toward institutions and regulators. It reflects a narrative where disruption is valorized and bureaucracy is vilified. But there's a tension here. Platforms like X are not just personal playgrounds, they are critical infrastructure for global communication. Legal compliance is not simply red tape, it is a guardrail designed to protect investors, users, and markets from chaos. Musk's fight with the SEC raises the question of whether one man's vision can or should override those guardrails. Looking ahead, the potential outcomes are stark. If the SEC wins, Musk may face multi-million-dollar fines, stricter compliance requirements, and reputational damage that could drag down X's valuation and prospects. If Musk succeeds in dismissing the case, he will walk away emboldened, having once again turned a regulatory battle into a victory lap. But that would also weaken the SEC's hand in future battles with other high-profile figures, signaling a new era where megaphone-wielding tech executives can defy regulators with fewer consequences. At its core, this case is about much more than delayed paperwork. It is about the balance of power between disruption and regulation, between free expression and fiduciary responsibility, between an individual billionaire and the system designed to keep markets fair. Elon Musk's latest clash with the SEC will shape not only the future of X, but the future of how regulators, investors, and the public understand accountability in an age where social media platforms wield unprecedented influence over politics, culture, and finance. The fight is not over, and whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. The story of Musk versus the SEC is no longer just a legal battle. It's a cultural referendum on how much power we are willing to place in the hands of one man with a platform.